Okay. Welcome everybody. We would have to start. Hi Sharon, welcome. Hi Precious, welcome. Hi Yara, welcome. Hi Justice, welcome. Hi Franklin, welcome. So today's topic is fixing Africans' monetization problems. And to be honest, I don't think we can fix it, but we would find a way around this. We'll find our way around this. To be honest, so this is like a meeting for a conversation. Like everybody would contribute to this conversation because one way or the other, we're either creators, freelancers, or something. We're doing something digitally, and that's why we're here. So everybody is included in this conversation. First off, when we say monetization, we're talking about the gap between creativity and cash flow, like money. It is already in the word monetization, money and creativity. We have talent, we have content, we have consumers, but most people aren't actually earning from their creativity or their online influence. I guess that's why it is a problem. That's why there is a problem in the first place. And I think this is because some platforms actually restrict monetizations in Africa and monetization in African countries, basically, because some actually do earn while some don't. And another problem is sometimes payment systems don't support the smooth international transactions or transfers. And on that note, I think I have answers to this one. The Endow platform is actually going to help people. Like, let me keep it for our speakers to actually speak and talk extensively on it. So yeah, we have questions. You can also ask your questions as you listen. You can write down questions and then ask the speaker when like the door is open. But then we'll go with my first question. How do creators, or how should creators convert their visibility into income? Our speakers, you can talk now. We want to hear from you.
Before we go on, I just think maybe you could make Justice a speaker because he has joined back and he'll be struggling to speak now.
Sorry, I didn't get you. What did you say?
So I was saying, I think Justice is having connection issues. So if he would most likely come back, you could just make him a speaker so that he can join in the conversation, or make him a co-host rather, so he can join in the conversation. Right.
Yeah, he
Welcome
is.
back, Justice. All right,
Hi,
good.
Justin. Welcome back.
Can
Did
you
you get my
speak now?
question?
Yeah, I did. I got the question, and I would want him to kick off with that. But let's just maybe do a bit of introduction to
Hi
justice and
guys.
why. Yeah, can you hear me, Justice?
Yeah, so I don't know. Murphy's law, lot of things like go
Oh,
just
right,
like network and all. But I didn't get the
right.
question. So sorry.
Okay, so you know the topic, right? Monetization problems in Africa. So I already like gave like a brief introduction to the topic and why we're here. So the question I'm throwing to you is how do creators, or how should creators um convert their visibility into income? Can you give us like share more light on that?
Wow. That is that's quite the question. It's like it's like getting into a fight and you've not even like taking a bow or anything. You just sharp, you just bring out gun. uh, yeah.
Sorry about it.
No problem. Hi, everybody. Let me just do a quick intro of myself. My name is Justice Eneji, a tech entrepreneur, right, and a creator. Um, and I am the co-founder CEO of ClapMe. ClapMe is a competitive live streaming platform, right, for creators and their fans to earn together. So I've been in the creative industry for a space, right, the creative industry for quite a while now. I'll say um my journey in entrepreneurship has been quite focused on showing African creativity, right, to the global stage using technology, right? So in doing this, I have kickstarted from like an e-commerce company to currently running a digital agency as well as a game studio called Juju Games and a live streaming platform that is recently backed by Lisk. Yeah. So like that's that intro. So now why am I doing that intro is because of I want you guys to know I have worked with like creators for like the longest time, right? Those entrepreneurs for the longest time. From my experience in running a digital agency and working with influencers and seeing that space to, running a game studio and looking at working with game creators and currently working with like lots of streamers, right? Creator streamers, I've come to understand the space from both the front end and the back end. And, now back to the question from the host, right? Which is, how how can creators monetize their talent? Yes.
Yes. How can they convert their visibility into income?
Yeah. How can they convert their visibility into income? Now, this part is very interesting. So, and I want everybody on this space to take one major thing, right? We live in the age where attention is the biggest currency you would ever get. Attention is the biggest currency you will ever get. Like you can take that down, right? Especially in the sense that you see a lot of people putting out the most outrageous tweets, doing their most outrageous stuff to gain a huge amount of visibility, right? Problem is most people, when they get that visibility, they don't know what to do next. When they get that 5 minutes of fame, you don't really know what to do next, right? And currently we're in the creator economy and where attention is the biggest income. So how do you turn that? How do you monetize that? There's so many ways to approach this question, but let me approach it from like a step-by-step process, because we have platforms that will allow for you to do that, right? So let me use a practical example, right? And I'm going to use game creators. Okay, I'm going to use gamers, game streamers. Some of you know the likes of Calamanja. Like if you're into gaming, some of you know the likes of Tommy Day and all, right? And those guys have successfully been able to gain more visibility, right? And use that to gain following. Now, here's the thing. In this day and age, the moment people see what you're doing, the moment people know what you're doing and they like what you're doing, right? Now, monetizing that becomes monetizing that becomes the next step that that will come into your mind. But you have to do it strategically, right? You have to do it like really, really strategically if you want it to be continuous. When you get that first visibility, the next thing is you have to repeat. Ask yourself, what did I do that got me that visibility? How can I repeat it? So you have to first take note of it, and then repeat it. There are people who do this consistently. The likes of Solomon Bucci, the likes of okay, I don't want to mention names, but we have some influencers who use rage or social topic, and they would consistently hammer on that social topic, so they get more and more visibility, and people in and follow them. Now, when people come in and follow them, these days brands want to go where the eyeballs are. I'll tell you this as someone who have run digital marketing for businesses. Ads versus proper influencer marketing. I'll tell you that proper influencer marketing drives sales more than just running Facebook or Instagram ads. Yes, there's an art to running Facebook and Instagram ads, and there's a lot of technicalities, but influencers drive more in terms of like community building and sales. And so businesses would easily want to pay money to anybody, right, who is able to gather attention and visibility, right? They would easily want to engage with you, right? So the best thing is when you get that first visibility and you notice that, okay, yeah, you're starting to gain traction. And this is me using traditional social media platforms like Twitter or TikTok or Instagram. When you get that, right, you want to next thing, first of all, before you move into charging people, you have to first of all prove that you can consistently get that visibility. Then after that, right, you can start by taking in some indirect influencer marketing gig, and that's like the fastest way, right, that you can turn that into monetization. Like it's like the fastest and easiest way, right? We have other platforms, like for example, we have ClapMe, we have Endow. I believe that in the course of this space, we'll talk about how you can do that, right? We have, we have other traditional platforms like YouTube, like Twitch and the others. But yeah, the very first and easiest way to turn that visibility into monetization, right? It's not just waiting for Elon Musk or for this platform to pay you, right? It's by working with business and being some form of indirect influencer, for that business. So, host, I yield the mic to you.
All right, thank you so much, Justin, for first of all, thank you for your introduction. For some of us that do not know Justin, he Justin is
Sorry,
sorry.
it's
For some
justice.
of us, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear it's justice, not Justin.
Oh, Justice. Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Hey, good. My network wants to do this. Sorry, please give me a minute. Justice. Okay, so Justice already introduced himself. For some of us that didn't get it, Justin is the CEO, founder of ClapMe, right? And what they do, um, you get to compete, stream, and earn with the platform and all of that. I think you should check him out after this conversation. And he has just given us insights into how we can turn our visibility into income, right? So he made mention of how brands always want to work with where there's visibility, where there's traffic. So if you keep putting out content and then you keep getting visibility, when brands, you can reach out to brands if at all, and brands can also reach out to you to make use of those visibility, because when you have visibility, it means that you have people who are watching. And if you should create a content for the brand, it means that those amount of people would actually still see the kind of content that you produce, right, that you make, or that you would make for the brand. So definitely they will pay you to actually talk about their content or film or make a video of their content or something, and then you earn from there. So if you have a question for that part of the conversation, let me see your hands up, or can you just say something? Does anybody want to say anything? If there are no questions, then we'll just move to the next question. Um, so I'm throwing this again to who should I throw to? Just who should I throw? Okay, sorry, Franklin. I think Franklin wants to say something. Franklin, you want to say something? Franklin, you want to say something? Hello, Franklin, are you here?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know what was wrong. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you.
I actually didn't want to say anything. I just wanted to thumbs up to what Justice had said in terms of visibility, and maybe
Okay.
also to just add a bit, because I think sometime on the 1st of October, yeah, there was this, I've forgotten the name of the conference by Elevation Church, Pastor Goodman, right, where they had Johnny Drew, we had Old School, and one of the big guys there. And there was a debate about visibility and value, which is more likely to succeed in 21st century. So why both of them made so much sense, I believe that sometimes it's also a bit about value too. Because visibility just builds that platform for you and gives you everything. But when Justice said most people get that for the first 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes or even one day, and then at the end of the day, they don't even know what to make out of it. So sometimes because of there's no value. So the market is driven by value, and sometimes value may not even mean something that makes sense. Some people are valuable to senseless people, and that's the trend of social media today. You go on this place we are in now, Twitter, the thing that makes so much trends are sometimes just very funny and not valued in what we would define it in our moral canons, but it is valuable to some people. So aside having all of those visibility, having to know, excuse me, having to know what markets you're driving value to also helps in that sense. So just wanted to add that a bit.
Franklin, are you here?
Yeah, I'm done. Over to you.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Justice, to our next question. So we know that many global social media platforms, the likes of I think Instagram, TikTok, and the rest, right? They um, do not fully allow monetization for most creators living in African countries, and we want to know why. Like, because I know that for TikTok, we've complained like a lot of times that they do pay people over there, like in other countries, more than they like ra- rather than pay like Nigerian creators. And like we put in the work, to be honest, because most content creators on TikTok earn from brands and maybe when you go live, I don't know. Yes, and the live is not that they are paying you. I think it's more like when they gift you. So like, but for creators out there, it's different because TikTok, these applications, these platforms actually pay them. So why is it so different? Like, what's the deal?
Great question. So now let me answer this, and let me start this from an educational standpoint, right? Because I know too many times, we um Africans and we from this side of the world, we're always like pissed off about these things. Like, yeah, creators out there, they earn more. It's the barriers to earning, right? It's a lot lower, right, than for a creator here. And truth is, it's almost like we need it more. We put out so much work, and we get paid the least. Statistically speaking, right? Out of over $100 billion that was paid out to creators, I think in the past 2 years, African creators got less than 0.1% of that amount of money. Like, I know the statistics for a fact because it's part of why we built Clap Me. But the reason for this is also because of um low purchasing power of Africans. That's where it all boils down to. The way most of these platforms make money, right, is usually by sharing ad revenue, right, between advertisers with creators. That's actually how they make money. So they have it's like a circle where you have lots of people on your platform using your platform. So advertisers pay you, the platform owner, you know, to show ads, and then you display those ads in between content from the creators who are driving content, right? And here's the thing, like, statistically speaking, the average business in the US would spend like $2,000, right, on ads in a month. It's not really so much of a big deal for them. You spend like $1,000 on ads in a month. Minimally, you're spending $500 on ads in a month. As someone who has run a digital agency, I'll tell you that the average Nigerian vendor wants to spend 20,000 naira on ads in a month, right? On Instagram. And you tell them, look, you need to spend, like, you would have somebody who has like a shop, a boutique, where they spend millions in stocking the shop. They pay millions in, in, um, in rentage. And then they'll tell you, okay, their ad budgets for advertising, they don't want to spend more than 100,000 naira, which is like $60, you know. So it's a cycle problem because in that $60, right, how much do you think platforms can pay creators from that, you know? Because of it, you have to look at it like that. And I say this because of at some point in my life, I think at around 2018, I tried to run this project that did like 50,000 users. It was called Per Pay, which was it was pay people when they see ads, you know. And I quickly realized the reason why other platform had the systems that they had, you know. Quickly realized it. You know, there's just no amount of look. We have more mouths to feed. We have more outflow than inflow. So it's a liquidity problem. It's a purchasing power problem, you know, here in Africa, right? And so that's why you will have the click-through rates here very, very low versus, and that's why you have creators and people who put out movies on YouTube. They are targeting people in the diaspora. Why? Because of that's their major audience that they can get paid well. Because people in the diaspora, right time foreign businesses, you know, especially for YouTube, are running like YouTube ads, right? And then those ads get displayed on their movie. The amount of money that they can make from that foreign business outweighs whatever is being spent locally. I will tell you that even big brands down here, from Mikano to, because, you know, my agency has done work for Mikano before, right? And even for Postmaster and all of that, what they want to spend on their YouTube ad budget is less than 5% of what they will spend, right, in their international counterparts. And you see, it's from that same budget that trickles down to creators, you know. So when you look at it, right, that is the core why, right? We are not generating enough money for them to pay us so much money. You know, it's crazy, but that's like when you look at it from the back end, and I know to a lot of creators, some of you may just be new. Some people, it's so shocking because the average person will tell you, "Oh, these businesses make money from our data," and they think it's the MTN data that they make money from. Like, okay, every time I buy like a recharge card of like 2,000 naira, you know, Facebook is going to get is going to get like 200 naira or something. No, the data most times is you know, they're getting your data and then they can properly, you know, use algorithms to share that to advertisers who are willing to advertise to you, right? But even in doing that, yeah, the data is not so accurate. If you've ever ran an Instagram ad or a Facebook ad, you will get a lot of hello highs from some weird accounts, right? For your business, DMing you, and Facebook is going to charge you for that, but those people will never buy, right? Because of, you know, it's just a weird system of even the people. We window shop a lot because we don't even have the purchasing power to buy. So even when they click your ads, you know, to buy, they don't even have the money to purchase, right? And you have to be very, very strategic, you know. So the average creator can't just earn from that pipeline easily, and that's just what happened. So TikTok, it's even worse, right? TikTok recently allowed monetization, of which TikTok is taking a whooping 50% off the table from creators. They've not opened a lot of pipeline that is available to creators out there, right? To the Nigerian creator. Recently, I was speaking, you know, we're currently working with like a couple of TikTok creators and we're noticing a trend. A lot of them are not really earning from TikTok. TikTok gives them that amount of visibility, and to which it's the brands that are working with them that's actually paying them, you know. And every now and then, to the ones who are really like big and lucky, right? The people who give them that money, and it's usually external viewers. Those that buy them gifts are usually external viewers. The average Nigerian TikTok audience is probably on your TikTok space for a giveaway. So they're actually collecting from you, not even giving you, you know. And it all still boils down back again to that liquidity problem, you know. We do not really have so much purchasing power, but we have high numbers, we have high volume of content, we have high amount of creativity. We are just broke. So that's why the average African creator is not getting paid by this, you know, by these businesses, by these platforms. So yeah.
I personally think it's unfair because honestly, we see these people put in the work. Like, I don't think any other country put in the work as Nigeria, as we do, like Nigerian content creators. Because Independence Day, you see everybody running out together doing photo shoots, doing every content. For every slightest thing that we run here, you see people running helter skelter trying to figure out content, and at the end of the day, these people come to
So
steal from us. Franklin, do you
yeah,
want to
I
add
won't say
anything
it's
to?
stealing.
Okay,
I wanted to
no, go
counter
ahead,
that,
Justin.
and yeah, I wanted to just counter that. Like, let me give you an example. So if you have a business, right, and you're supposed to pay people off commission from the business. Let's assume like you have a fashion store, right? And you have one or two persons working for you, and you're supposed to pay them off the commissions they do. Now, would you pay them for how many times they run around, taking your product to the markets, or on every single time they make a sale? No matter how you want to dice it, that's actually that's a simple example, right? Would you pay them for 30 days? These guys were they were in Oshodi, they were taking the clothes, they were everywhere, they were on the street, they were saying buy clothes, but they did not make sale. Would you still pay them like that salary?
So now basically what you're saying is TikTok actually TikTok will pay you when you actually make money for them.
Yes, that's how this
Is that the whole
platform
gist?
work. Yes, that's
Word.
like the summary of
Because
this
I know
entire
of this
that yeah.
this meta as well. You mentioned something about them charging you for every client or every person that actually sends you a text, and I can attest to that because I run ads. So I get what you're trying to say. I hope everybody's on the same page with that. So they will not pay you if you don't bring money in for them.
Exactly.
Franklin, do you want to add
Exactly.
something?
So, I mean, if everyone is with their phones here, maybe you have this data or not, but just do a quick check. For example, I'm going to use Spotify, for example. See how much Spotify costs in the US. It costs around $11, $12 in the US per month. We're paying 1.6 for Spotify. Yeah, that's roughly around $1. So you're paying about how many percent of what the average US person is paying. So you can't expect those people in the US now to now make the same amount of money you were making in Nigeria. It doesn't work like that. But on average, for an average YouTube person, I mean, the average views or the average revenue per mile or per impression is always around 3% to 20%, or $3 to $20. But here in Nigeria, it's around 0.5 on the lowest scale, it's around 5 on the highest scale. And that is because of the same problem, right? Justice has spoken so much deeper into the whole cost of ads, local ads, and all of that. But let's even move away from that and speak into cost of premium tools for these platforms. Like I said before now, Spotify in the US averagely is $12. We were paying $1. The same thing also applies to Netflix and other platforms that we use. And the truth is that averagely injustice was we are broke because when you check the rate, even down to recharge cards, down to data, when you check the data, you find out that number of internet users in Nigeria is much more higher than every other guys around Africa. But when you check that same data in terms of profitability, these guys in South Africa are making more money for their internet service providers than what we do in Nigeria. Recently, MTN increased their fares and the cost of subscription and everything, and everybody wanted to just kill them. But would you believe that MTN was running at a loss as at 2 years ago? And when they increased that data fare, in the next 6 months, they had started to record profits. So the point is that the average user in Nigeria or the average user in Africa pay less to support these platforms to grow. While I think we are still on those platforms is because on the future potential of the African economy. You look at the African economy, roughly 75% of this economy is youths under the age of 25 years. So looking at in the next 5, 6, 7 years, the numbers keep increasing and you have more younger people using the internet, using all of these platforms. So the investment in Africa today is more like a future investment, not even now because they are not making so much money from what we're doing now. But now boy came that day and was saying an African musician, you make this amount of money from Spotify. People were going after you. There's the reality. We don't spend so much money to support these platforms. So they can be a little bit funny in having to pay you out of the pots that they have. Now that is why you find out most YouTube, and I think Justice also spoke to that, most YouTube guys now what they do is, in fact, all YouTube films today have subtitles just because we want to appeal to the non-English speakers or those who are not really part of our culture because we want to tie into that international market so that your average earning would increase from that say 0.5% to 5% to about 30% to 20, sorry, $0.5 to $5 to about $3, $20. But then you mentioned a bit about stealing. You cannot be more richer than your society. So when you place Aliko Dangote in the Nigerian fair, he's rich. But then when you take that same surrounding of Aliko and place him somewhere in the US, you would start to sense a bit of poverty around that same sphere, because you cannot be more richer than where you are as a society. So your level of wealth is also an impact of the society you're coming from. And that's why we keep speaking about building infrastructure, building tools that also helps the creators to, want to progress, want to scale and want to grow. And I foresee in the next future, in the next 5, 6, 7 years, 5 years is even a long time. In the next 2, 3 years, look at example of what Clapton is building now. You can have, you can stream and make money from streaming immediately. Like you don't need to jump on Twitch, jump on all of these fine platforms to do that. We're building locally made tools that allows for us to even earn locally. But now it's going to be a problem of having to have our own users, our own local people, even through this platform. Because an average Nigerian mind prefer to be scammed by, not scam for lack of better word, but then we prefer to go on YouTube and do all of that than to earn from a local platform, which is actually a common mindset thing, right? Platforms like Endow too, building tools that even allow these creators themselves to even connect directly to these platforms and even collect earnings from them. So there are a lot of things that will go into infrastructure in the creator economy, the creator space, coming from this year going forward. And it's just going to be a thing of time. We will get there. But as of now, we are broke to start earning averagely what these guys are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you for
much,
that, Franklin.
Franklin.
I want to just ask that, please, guys, if you're on this space, please retweet this space. I think well, this is actually a very, very important conversation, and we'll also be sharing about how to actually even earn, right, regardless of all of these hurdles, right? So please retweet this space. We would really appreciate that, so more people know about this space. If you're here and if you're enjoying this space, feel free to ask questions or drop emojis to show support for the speakers. So yeah, just kindly retweet this space, everybody. Thank you.
All right. So before I add something, I think someone wants to say something. Yarrow, you mentioned. So let me. I'm coming. So I can only make 2 people speakers. Oh, his network is even bad. He left. I'm sure I will join again. But anyways, what I wanted to add. Oh my god, I think it left my head already. But okay, yes. So I just wanted to buttress the point. Not buttress per se, but there's something that YouTube is doing now. So YouTube added new features to their features. I don't know if that makes sense. About monetization and collaboration. So I think we already know now by now that collaboration is the next big thing in the creative space. You have to create, not you have to basically, but when you collaborate with somebody, it just gives you more visibility, it gives you more audience, right? And YouTube is now you can now actually earn from YouTube even without the monetization, and I'll explain how. So basically all you need to do is to collaborate with, so now YouTube has a collaborative feature. You can collaborate with creators, you can collaborate with friends and families and all of that. So all you have to do to actually earn money without collaboration is when you collaborate with someone who is already monetized on YouTube. And at the end of the day, when YouTube pays for that particular video that you collaborated on, you get to have your fair share of the money. That's if you're working with somebody very honest. Or to avoid all of those drama, you use the Endow platform. I would leave Franklin to talk extensively on that. But anyways, but the problem is what YouTube didn't do is for you to actually earn off that type of way, it's the person that is monetized that would post, because obviously you're not monetized, so when you post, I'm not sure you get the money. So it's only the person who is monetized now that will make the post and add you as collaborator, and then you accept. So they are sending the money directly into the person's account. That's the person who is monetized, the person, the one who posted it, the creator who posted it. So now it's there for the creator to now tell you, okay, this is how much YouTube paid, and this is how much we're sending to you. But again, like I said, the person can actually decide to lie to you because we're talking about money here. People do the worst things when it comes to money, right? So there's this platform that helps creators, especially when it comes to collaboration. I mean, when it comes to collaboration, where you guys can actually just um, have an agreement. Okay, there's going to be like a mutual agreement between the two creators who are collaborating. Okay, we're going to split this money when the money drops. Anything that drops, maybe they're going to give us 10 naira, we're going to split it 70-30. They're going to pay us 10,000 because they pay in dollars, right? But when you convert it, now I'm talking in the conversion. So when they pay us 30,000 naira, or okay, let's say when they pay us $100 now, we're going to split it 70-30. So you take 70, I take 30. Or we'll do 50-50, you take 50, I take 50. And then when you impute that on this particular platform that I'm talking about, when the money drops, you automatically get your money without any stress. Like you don't even have to like say how far for them to drop your money, basically. So there are platforms that are built and that are set aside. Like I said, I'll give the mic to Franklin to actually explain extensively on this platform, because aside the collaboration feature, there are like also like other things that are there are also like a lot of features that are on this platform. But before we move ahead, Yaro has something to say. So Yaro, can we hear you?
Hello, good evening. Thank you very much, Justice Franklin and our host. My question is this: is mainly for Justice, honestly.
Wait. What do you
Okay.
mean, Justice Franklin and our host? It's
You
precious.
know, I know it's precious. It was just the first thing that came to my mind. I apologize for that. And
Exactly.
precious,
No
and precious.
problem.
Thank you very much for the opportunity and the time. Um, okay, my question is this: like, not every creator is generally does everything like video based blogs and all of that. Like personally, like I am a photographer. I mainly just shoot photography and I create wall art photography. So basically fine art photography. And one of the reasons that I got attracted to Endow is for the fact that I can get payments directly, which is, I'll be honest with you, which is the selling point into why which I am interested in Endow. Like, I had to sell most of my work. Usually, I used to use Facebook and stuff, but Facebook and Instagram, as which you mentioned, generally doesn't support as much as you think it should support. Even if you drop 20,000 naira for advertisement, 50,000 naira for advertisement, the reach doesn't go as much as I assume. And on top of that, I would say that the Nigerian space doesn't generally promote artwork in the sense. I can confidently say that 95% of people who has purchased my work are not Nigerians. They're either from Poland or from Canada or from the US. But currently I now decided not to even sell my work. Currently I decided not to even sell my work via Instagram or all of that. I've even shut down my Instagram account, my Facebook account, and I've been trying to figure out how to break the market in a sense. Now, my main question is this: is there any way, or do you have an advice as to how one can break into the Nigerian market into selling works, especially like mine, in the sense of wall art or artworks in that sense, photography specifically? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yaro, for that question. And because I totally fuck with photography, and I love art, right? By the way, pardon my language, guys. So yeah, like, because I have sold like an NFT collection before, right? I think I can tell you I can give you a couple of tips. But let me first of all start with this, right? A great example I always like to use is Afrobeats. How did we export Afrobeats, right? Our biggest Afrobeat artists, the big three or the big four, they do not make money from our own local audience. They make money from the fact that our local audience who are now in the diaspora are very loud. We have numbers and we are very loud. And I always try to tell businesses that, and creatives especially, right, that your goal with the Nigerian audience should not be sales, should be brand awareness. Like as a business, if you underline where and what you want to do with the Nigerian audience, right? Remove sales as your primary target. You can say, oh man, we have 220 million people. So if I can just capture 1% of this in sales, I'm like, nah, you're bullshitting. You get what you need is that you should be aiming that, okay, a percentage of that, let's say 5% of that number, right, are talking about you enough for international people to pay you. And I think you've already figured this out. There's one thing I always say. I say, if you study the data long enough, the answers you need to your problems are in the data. If after every single move you take, you go back, you do an autopsy of the data, right? The answers you need are in the data. It's now how do you execute that? And for Yaro, I think you already figured it out. You said 95%, right, are from external persons, but you're putting your work here. What you need to do is you need to look at how to get more Nigerians to notice your work, to talk about your work, so more external people can buy your work. Simple and short. That's what we did with Afrobeat. That's what we've done with any industry. Heck, that's what we do with our oil, right? We do not consume majority of our own crude oil. We export that shit, And if you underline this as a business model, you would get it, And you would also and I'll even give you down to there's this retailer that we helped scale her business. She was so amazed, right? How did we do it? She's an amazing designer and all, right? But she was always trying to target a local audience. We said, forget that thing. And then we curated her stuff, and this is something we did at my agency, right? We curated her stuff, and then when we started running ads, it was pricey. Majority of the focus were Nigerians in diaspora. And when she started making sales, she made enough sales, she opened an additional, a bigger space, But I'll tell you that the money came from majority of Nigerians in the diaspora, not local audience. That's always the best way to sell. We have that numbers. Brands and businesses that have figured it out, that have thrived, understand how to use our numbers, right? And I'll tell you that even at ClapMe, right, what we've done, and this is another thing you can do, is creativity is we're moving to an age where it's going to be mainly, everybody is going to be a creator, whether you like it or not. And I don't mean, when you say creator, right, it's not much that you're video editing, you're cutting, right? The next level of the creator economy is live streaming. Take it or leave it. That's just it. The next level. And live streaming is so easy because internet is getting better. We have the likes of Starlink, we have the likes of FiberX trying to make internet better. Not current video content creation, right? The attention span is getting shorter, but people would like to see, that real long form, format of entertainment. The general appetite for entertainment has increased, and live streaming gives you varieties. And live streaming is so easy that all you need to do is turn on a camera, and go live. And that's what is coming into. So I would say with your photography, right, show your process both on a live stream and video content. Short video content, live stream, short video content, live stream, and see what happens, right? As long as you're able to get that numbers, and Nigerians are able to fuck with you, give you that high numbers of followership and every single thing, you build credibility, you build that leadership, right? It is not sales, please. I would say, do not look at, do not look at, profit should come from here. No. But get that numbers. When you get that numbers, the people are going to be, wow, this guy has 500,000 or 100,000 followers, right? Wow. And he's having a good amount of engagement. On the back end, those people are not really buying. And I'm telling you that even with influencer marketing, right? Some brands, they try to, those that are not strategic enough and those that just want to do it themselves, they work with some certain influencers that have so many numbers and then they come back and complain, oh, this did not translate to sales. I'm like, no, you are supposed to strategically use the tool the right way. You can't use a shovel instead of digging. You want to use the shovel to cut something. You're just messing it up. So But if you use the right influencer the right way, even with an influencer, there are influencers that can give you sales, right? If you use them the right way, you will get what you want. They're the ones that will give you amazing amount of brand awareness. You use them the right way, you get what you want. Some of them are just PR. You use them the right way, you get what you want. So the same thing here, right? I would say if you want to like get into that market, you're trying to sell your photography, right? And it's something I had to experience firsthand when I did like an NFT collection. We did over like $25K, right? Selling NFTs on the blockchain, right? And I'll tell you that majority of those sales came from our diaspora and from foreign buyers, yeah. But the Nigerian audience helped make that noise. They helped make that shill, and I underlined it as something that works, right? And if you're strategic enough, it would always work for you. So yeah, hope that answers the question.
Oh yes, it does. Thank you very much. I appreciate the insight into it. I really do. Thank you very very
Thanks,
very
Chef.
much.
Thanks, Chef.
Okay, so who is speaking next? Questions, everybody. Does anybody want to say something?
No, I'm not sure we got any question. I think you had a question earlier
I
on.
think somebody raised up, and I think Omotola raised up. And
Oh, okay,
sorry,
okay.
Amy. I don't know, I'm trying to send them the request. Okay. When he's ready to speak. So I was saying something before. Nero asked his questions, and I'm glad that he got his answers. Franklin, can you please share more light on the platforms for creators, or the platform for creators?
Okay. So if you're speaking about the YouTube latest feature, so here's the interesting thing, right? We were building Endow to be a top collaborative tool for creators, amongst other things that we do. Um, Store hosting, you can launch your product one-on-ones, you could do events, registration or bookings, and all those nice things. Even a wallet that allows creators to receive payments from about 20 different platforms, YouTube, Fiverr, Gumroad, and all of that. And then just a virtual card that allows you to trade and do all of those nice things. But to speak about the collaboration thing, right, we started building those things without even, we're not in YouTube. YouTube don't even know about us, but it got so interesting when about a month ago, YouTube, the CEO of YouTube was on a podcast or an interview, and they mentioned about their collaboration too. So here's the thing: the collaboration allows it's always initiated by a bigger creator to a smaller creator, and the loophole there is that payment or revenue generated from that collaboration is paid most likely into the bigger creator accounts. That's how YouTube had programmed it. Or maybe they didn't have that thing in view when they were building it. Because he was asked that question and he said, it just goes to the bigger creator because they feel that's the guy that does a lot of the work. But the thing about collaboration with Endow is that um, you can agree on a split. You can agree on a collaboration share and say, okay, for this project, let's say two artists or two guys that are running their Nollywood thing or their music thing want to just go on YouTube and make money on the whole thing about on YouTube. And you connect the YouTube platform to Endow. We can agree on a split and say, for every project, I take 50, you take 50, I take 60, you take 70. The thing is, once that revenue is dropping on YouTube, bam, it's splitting automatically. So everybody gets their own share without having to, fight for, do any of those things. And some time ago, there was one interesting tweet that I saw on this space, this Twitter space or X space, where someone mentioned that, they were expected to get about $1K from a particular project. And when it landed, they got about $9 or so. Remind me, person, if I'm wrong. And people were just eating that guy. Twitter is a very deadly place. Eating the guy that you've gone to scam your people, you've gone to do that. But the truth is, you could have avoided such things in collaboration when there are platforms that allows you to just, split your earnings automatically. So once we do a project together, once I'm landing my revenue, bam, everybody's taking their own share. And that is where we're looking at the future for social media space. Justice made mention about streaming and all of those. When you look at the streaming framework, right? Streaming is not just one person. Streaming is about a streamer, the listeners. You can even have 2 or 3 streamers to make the things more interesting. See, what's this guy that spits a lot? Sorry, I don't know his name, but I've forgotten his name. It just skipped my head. But that kind of settings, you see Shank and his other guys in the room. Kata Ife, thank you very much. With all of these other guys in the room, right? So, how do they split money? We don't know. Tomorrow they come out and say Kata Ife is what they use. Is ripping them. But with platforms like this, where we're seeing that the future of the creator space is in collaboration. We started from music, we went into film, now we're going into streaming, right? So, it is very interesting for us to build infrastructural tools that allows for this scale to happen at ease. Because when this thing starts scaling, problems start to come with it. That's the general rule of scale. Problems follow where scale is. So it's now very nice for you to curtail those risks or those problems with infrastructures that allows you to scale seamlessly. And that's one of the things that we're doing there now. So yes, I don't know if that answers the question very much, Precious, but I think I've been able to share more light on that.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, that one is coming from like the Endow point of view, and we really appreciate. Justin, sorry, why do I keep calling you Justin? Justice, please, you want to add to the whole conversation, like what Franklin just said?
Oh, yeah. But on a small side cheeky note, right? Did you ever date a Justin? Right? Because I think you keep
Oh,
murdering my
please
day.
stop it, stop it.
Alright, cool. So, yeah, there's something Franklin has been saying from the beginning of this space, which is as Africans, we need to build our own infrastructure, we need to build our own rails. And that's why I'm happy about what Endow is doing. And that's why I'm happy about what us at Clap Me, right? We are Clap Me, what we are doing. Yeah. So because we understand our space very well. And I always say this, that, it takes people who, the only people who can solve our problem is us, because we understand our demography the most, and Franklin and the team at Endow, right? Bobai and the rest, they understand what they're building, right, for creators. The same way we also understand what we're building for creators. How Clap Me is solving this is this, because we know we have the numbers. Let me just do a little backtrack, right? I hope I'm not sounding so much like a tutor, right? There are 7 S's, right, of the internet. When you do when you check your data analysis of what do Nigerians search for, what do Africans search for the most, right? So number 1 is like your Google search platform, of which a couple of those S's, S, like letter S for snake, right? We have sports, right? Sport betting. So, gambling is right up there, right? We have sex, And another one that comes up very, very fast is streaming, streaming, right? Which are like 3 out of that 7S, and about how we are Clap Me, we're approaching this. So, yeah, when I spoke about Clap Me, I mentioned it being a competitive live streaming platform. In a nutshell, right, on Clap Me, creators go head to head in like a live stream contest, right? And the audience are able to vote for who they think would win the live stream, right? Will win the live stream contest, and the winning fans and the audience that voted for them get to share in the pot, right? So basically, it's like saying, so Franklin and I can go this very Twitter space. We can have this very Twitter space on a Clap Me live stream about, African creators earning or the most, or should African creators not earn, equal to their Western counterparts. And everybody on this audience can decide to vote. The vote is with clap points, just like you would on TikTok. So instead of just gifting the creator, right, you are gifting to vote, And let's say in the event, I win the argument that, okay, African creators should not earn as much as Western creators. And I doubt I will win that argument, and in the event I do that, people who voted for me get to share in that prize pool. So Franklin and I could have started this argument with like, look, bro, I bet you 10K that, I'm going to win this argument, right? And so that makes 20K in the pot, and you guys all come in and are voting for either of us to win. And for that pot becomes like 200K. And everybody who voted for me and myself get to take all of Franklin's own side of the pot plus everybody who voted for him.